This video has been sponsored by Solderstick. More on that at the end.
Hey, what's happening, guys? As you can see here, we've got another printer. This is the Sovol SV07 from Sovol. And this is a low-cost $2.99, I think is the price on this. Kilpper based bed slinger. So this thing should be phenomenal. This should be in line with the Elegoo Neptune 4 Pro and also the Chitty X Smart 3 X Plus 3 that I have. You'll find out, I think, that these are what the next generation of printers are going to be. Alright, so let's open this up and see everything that's in here. Give me 1 second. Alright, so printers these days are coming really well packed, and this is no exception. Again, this is the Sovol SV07. It is a clipperized bed slinger. Let's see what we got in the package. Small spool of PLA. Tell you what, I'm going to unpack everything and I'll be back. Okay, so everything that was in the box with the SV07. Again, we have the filament. This looks like what? 200 grams. We have some various parts that we'll need to assemble. We have our gantry. You can see it has dual Z motors, but no synchronizing belt at the top. Focus. This is our filament spool holder, and it has a filament runout sensor. This is what the spool goes on, and as you can see here, this is probably can't show you this way, but it's ball bearing supported. Very nice. This is the control panel, which I believe contains the heart of the system. Control panel mount. Here is the base, which contains a little drawer that has all of the necessary tools. This strange PEI sheet. Then we have another magnetic PEI build plate, textured on both sides. Then if you look up afterthought in the dictionary, you'll probably find this. This is a fan that's going to bolt onto the back. This is, this definitely looks like an oh crap, we need to add extra cooling kind of thing. Here is the tool head, which is particularly nice, although it is incredibly large. Look at that. Direct drive. The whole thing, it uses a board there on the back. You can see that everything plugs into. We've got LEDs on the bottom. It'd be a nice look at the tool head there. Power cord and manual. So now we got to put this together. Take a look at this. As I'm unpacking the hardware, it comes with an accelerometer for the input shaping, but all of the bags of parts are in order and labeled via the steps. Now this is very nice. I would like to see other 3D printer manufacturers doing this. This makes things super easy. Well, even though it's not listed in the manual, step 1 on any 3D printer, this is ridiculously heavy, should be to find your power selection switch and make sure it is correct. for your area. So step one, according to the manual, is to install our gantry. And we have to install the bolts from down below. This is a step back because the SV06 had the bolts going in from the side. I don't know why Sovol did this, but you know, I'm sure there's a reason in there somewhere. So we're going to get the gantry installed. I got the gantry installed. You can see it didn't take very long. I took a little bit of extra time and made sure I went around and tightened, you know, any nuts, bolts, screws that I could find at this point. So now we're ready to move on to step two. And step two is to mount the screen and controller. Alright, here's a small gripe. I'm on step two, installing this bracket to hold the screen on the side. And these screws are excessively long. Like, why? These are M4 by 30. Seems like maybe M4 by 10 would have done the job just fine. Also, look at the head profile. Those are made to go into a countersunk hole. Man, don't quite like that. Alright, we're moving on to the next step, which is to mount the tool head and extruder there. And according to the manual, we are to use 4 M3 by 8 screws. We don't have any. We have M4 by 10, M3 by 10, M3 by 16, M4 by 16, 5 by 20, 4 by 30. I think we're going to have to use these, but there's another issue. So I wanted to lift the Z-axis, the gantry here, up high so I have room, you know, to work. And as I start moving this across, look at that. Right there. Right in the damn middle of the plate. There's a hitch. There's another one there. 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 Why are there 3 hitches on this? I am not liking this at all. Alright, I was able to get the hitch out of its giddy up. Mostly. There's still a little tick right there. By adjusting, bear with me here, this here eccentric nut that is on the bottom wheel of the X-axis. So it's much smoother now. It would not have worked the way it was before, and you would have had failed prints. And if this was your first printer and you didn't know what to look for, you'd be pretty disappointed when you got that first print out of this thing and it didn't work. So keep that in mind, Sovol. Alright, before I put the tool head on, I want to have a look under the cover. Why? Well, that doesn't fit. Because I'm what my mother would have called Nebby. N-E-B-B-Y. That is, I don't know, I guess it would be Pittsburghese for nosy. I want to know what we're working with. It's the same reason I took apart all my dad's tools when I was a kid. I mean, he wasn't happy about it, but I learned how everything worked. Alright. Am I missing a screw? I feel like I'm missing something here. I'm not even anywhere near putting strain on that yet. Oh, there it is. Alright. So, these look like 40 4015 hot end cooling fan. And then on the bottom, another 4015 hot end cooling fan. And this is almost the same duct design as the SV06, which is an excellent design. So I'm sure this will work well for cooling. Then we have, you know, our inductive sensor. And because it's all the rage, you must have LEDs on your tool head. I understand one or two to see what's going on, but some of them are putting in RGB LEDs for all kind of different effects. That's cool. If you do, like, you know, 3D printing as a lifestyle, that's a cool thing. Get that lined up, and I'll get these put back in. All right, up next is the filament spool holder, which kind of clips on the front here somehow. It's gonna be hard for me to do it with one hand. Hang on. All right, there it is. Screwed in back with one screw. All right, next step is just plugging in various wires. You can see here I've already done the x-axis. What we need to do now is plug in the controller. And as you see here, see how we have A goes to A and B1 or B2 goes to B1 or B2. So let's pop the controller off. So we obviously have a power cable. And then we have a couple USB ports. This is the USB 3, USB-C. And this, I'm guessing, is an SPI port for the accelerometer. You know what we haven't plugged in is that fan. So what's it say? Fan kit 2P, filament sensor 3P. Well, that's good. All right, let's spin this around. Oh. Tell you what, this is a heavy printer. Okay, so that oh, you can't see that. That goes to the filament sensor up here. So let me take care of that. So there's a filament sensor. What does the fan plug into? Alright, I think I've got just about everything hooked up for now. We're not going to do the accelerometer testing right away. I want to see how it prints on its own without the accelerometer and the input shaping, resonance compensation first, and then we'll do that. But what I wanted to show you is this, the power switch here, which is located on the side of the control panel. When the printer's on, press the power for more than 5 seconds and the Kilpper system will be closed. What that means is because Kilpper is running on Linux, Linux doesn't like you to just shut things off. It can corrupt the whole system. So what this does is it shuts down the Linux system first. You see, after closing the Kilpper system, the printing will be stopped even though you didn't turn off the machine's power. See how that works? It's a separate brain from the rest of the computer, and it's a good thing. I just wanted to point that out because I've been kind of picking at this thing, but that's a good thing. Another thing I want to point out is the strain relief here on the heated bed, hot bed, whatever you want to call it. That's very nice. That's pretty sturdy. A lot of the earlier printers didn't have good strain relief on the heat bed, and what would end up happening is after multiple, you know, thousands of cycles back and forth, this will break off and then, you know, you're SOL. But they did good here. But what I don't like, leveling knobs. Leveling knobs say I'm not quite certain that our automatic bed leveling works. So try this instead. You know, this is supposed to be the next generation, you know, the high-speed Kilpper printer. But it's got, you know, first generation level the bed knobs. If that's a price choice, I can understand that, but those need to go. And in this case, we're a little bit lucky because if we look over here, they sent us spacers so we can replace them. That's cool. Alright, so I have everything assembled and it is in place where it's going to live here. Now I am going to switch it over to the spacers at some point, but because there's a whole like 3-step leveling process, I'm going to do with what it comes with first, you know what I mean? And then we can make adjustments after we're more familiar with the system. So for everybody that likes the peeling of the screen protectors, there you have it. And now for its first power up. From watching other videos on this, I know it can take at least 10 seconds before you see anything at all on that screen. So we will wait. And there we go. Nice intro. I'm glad it's not playing a tune, though. Welcome to Sovol. So I really don't know what to expect here because, you know, this is my first time. Okay, your languages. English. Oh, we'll go with English. All right. Network setup. You don't need to watch this part. But yes, it has built-in Wi-Fi. Thank goodness. Appears to be connecting to the Wi-Fi. Can't really tell if that bar is moving because it's really slow. Let's see what happens if I hit close. Yeah, we're connected. Okay. Host name is MKS Pi, 2.4 gigahertz. All right, so we're connected. Leveling calibration. Follow the steps below to calibrate the machine. Refer to the manual for details. Operation Z calibration setting. So we're going to set our Z level first. Then we're going to do a bed level and then a mesh. Okay. So here is our main screen, which is not bad. Let's go machine leveling. Z offset. Start. I was hoping it was going to home. Oh, I guess I should put my sheet on there. Yes, you can see it has nice lights there. So far, it seems very quiet. I'm ready on the switch just in case it crashes the head, but it didn't. Well, if this is the point where I'm supposed to set the Z, it is quite a distance away. Like a lot. So, let's move the camera. Hang on. Okay. I've got a regular sheet of paper in there. And I'm going to point to where the nozzle is with this stick. Can you see that? That's probably a good, like I said, maybe a centimeter away. So let's go 5 millimeters. Still plenty of room. I'm going to take it down to 1 millimeter this time. Getting closer. 0.5 millimeter. Now I'm going to go 1/10 of a millimeter because I'm starting to feel some pressure. Pretty close. Alright, I'm going to have to keep doing this, so I'll just pause until I'm done. Alright, that only took a few more seconds. I have a nice grab there now, and I'm going to show you the screen. You can see our new Z offset is -2.31. Going to hit accept. Save configuration, yes. That is one thing about Kilpper. It's going to restart the system a whole lot when it does stuff like this. Alright, back in the machine leveling. We just did Z calibrate. Now we do bed level, and I'm going to have to look up this procedure. Alright, bed level. It's going to go into each of these corners, and we want them to be as close as possible. So let's start in the front left corner. So we can get in there. Now I can't get it in there, so I'm going to have to adjust it a little bit. Alright, screw adjust. Alright, that took quite a bit of adjusting to get that one just a little bit of drag. Alright, now we'll do number 2. Same thing. Alright, that step took about 10 minutes. And you can see our 4 corners, the front left reference. Then we have 0, 0, 0, so those are perfect. 0.01 and 0.08. And that is about as close as I can get them. So we did bed level, now we do Z tilt. What it's doing is taking readings from each side and seeing how they mesh up with each other, and then what it will do is it will compensate by adjusting one stepper higher or lower than the other one. Well, it didn't give me any results, so I assume it's done. Now we'll do a bed mesh. I have to do calibrate. Yep, so now it's doing its bed mesh. 1, 2, that was what, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to do a 25-point mesh. And at this rate, it's not going to take long. So let's talk about one thing that I'm kind of not liking. The way that umbilical is just hanging back there, bouncing off of stuff. I might find some way to suspended up here somehow. But I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that yet. Also, what I don't like is this gigantic hood on the extruder. So it's going to be almost impossible to see your first layer. Alright, save my configuration. Kilpper will reboot. Yes. No. Well, we had a look at our mesh there for a second, but I bet you we can come back in here into machine leveling, bed mesh, default, and we can take a look at it. So there's our mesh. Looks like right in the center is the... No, that corner is the furthest. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, you're still not bad. Okay, let's find out what our next step is. All right, set the extruder to 220 degrees. You see it's climbing pretty fast there. So we'll get ready to load the filament. Okay, we're up to temp. Let's load some filament. There we go. All right, and then back here, let's say load. I can feel it pulling. There we go. I'm starting to get a squirt. Let's do another load. And there comes the white. All right, looking good. All right, let's print the included benchy. I think there is a... You can't see the drawer, can you? There we go. I think there's a drive right there. So, probably plug it in right here, huh? Yes, indeedy doody, just like that. All right, let's say print, USB, benchy test 25 minutes. All right, benchy test 25 minutes. Print. It is currently about 1:48, 1:49 p.m. Let's see, what do we see? 220 degrees on the extruder. The bed says 24 degrees. I should assume it will be heating up. Yeah, it says 25 of 50. There we go. Current timer 40 seconds. Time left 20 minutes. This will probably be the only time I ever print off of that, because I'll probably do everything else from the computer. Alright, I'll be back when it starts to actually print. Alright, we are at 48 degrees. Our extruder, I guess the print temperature for that one was 210, so it's got to drop down here to 210 from the 220 we were at. 210 to 210, 50 a 50. We should be getting ready to print. There's the clock, 2:16. There's the screen. It says 26 minutes. That is including the warm-up time. And there it is. And it don't look bad. Now, I was watching the screen as it was printing. Yeah, I actually sat here for 25 minutes watching. I was watching the speeds, the print speeds, move speeds. This is conservative. You could probably knock this down to 18 minutes. It was only running at about 150 millimeters a second. Gonna have to adjust the retract rate a little bit. Looks like we got a little bit of stringing there in the wheelhouse. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see it. But there at the bottom, looks good. It's not bad. Not bad, especially for, you know, 25 minutes. Let's see how well this stuck here. It's not terrible. I might adjust the Z down just slightly more. And it does have baby stepping on here, so you can do it directly from there. Alright, so that was good. Let me pull this out. That was their file that they sliced. Now we're going to do one I sliced. Alright, there is a little tree frog that I sliced in a Sovol slicer. You can see it says it should take 16 minutes. So I've installed the Moonraker app so we can print directly to the printer. Here we go. Upload, start print job, bang. Connecting. Why does it say it is connecting? My bad. I typed in the wrong address before. Alright, let's do this. Reslice. Upload. Start print job. Bang. Oh, there it goes. Let's head on over. Alright, so we're waiting for the bed to heat up and it will start printing. I'm going to have to figure out what I need to do to get the thumbnail on the screen. But there's our bed. It is at 56 of 60 degrees. Well, there it is. Our little tree frog. Looks like we might have had a little come loose. But like I said, I think I'm going to have to adjust that Z down just a little bit. But otherwise, that looks pretty good. Alright, let's see if we can't shut down Kilpper by holding that button for, they say, 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. So Kilpper is now shut down and we can shut off the machine. That simple. Alright, so here's an up close look on our benchy. I haven't touched it. Looks pretty good, and I marked this one 07 number 1. So this is pre-input shaping. Now here's the tree frog that I printed. You can see there is a little bit of stringing there, and I think the reason for that is in the Cura slicer Their stock setup has the retraction set for 6.5 millimeters, but a direct drive extruder, it should be less than a millimeter. But other than that little bit of stringing, that looks fantastic. And that was at a top speed of 250 millimeters a second. It took 23 minutes as opposed to 16, so that slicer estimation it's a little bit off. So my final thoughts on the SV07 so far. Keep in mind, I just unboxed it, put it together today with you guys. I like it. I'm not sure it would make a great first printer. Just for all of the setup involved with getting Kilpper going and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, other than that, I don't see any problems with it. They need a little more quality control on how they ship it out, so the folks who don't have experience don't have to wonder why they've got three dead spots in their x-axis. It turned out just the eccentrics were too tight, that's all. The manual is excellent. If you were to get this as your first printer and you followed the instructions word for word, step by step, you wouldn't have any trouble. But if you're anything like me, you gave it a cursory look and then you just went for it. Well, that's okay if you know what you're doing. I say I semi-know what I'm doing with this. But it's not bad. And like I said, this manual is just phenomenal. One of the best 3D printer manuals I've ever seen. So, overall, I like it. If you can order from Sovol's website, you can get it for $2.89. I don't know what the shipping would be on that or how long it would take. Or you can order it for $3.19 from Amazon and, they'll have it at your house tomorrow. You got patience? I recommend you order it directly from Sovol. However, if you're like me, go the Amazon route, right? Alright guys, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this. I know some of you don't like 3D printer stuff. That's okay. Don't watch. Like I said, if you enjoyed, give me a thumbs up. Feel free to comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Big thanks to all the patrons. Big thanks to you guys for watching. That's it. I'm out. Peace.
Today's video is brought to you by Solderstick. Solderstick makes quick, waterproof wire connections that last a long time and protect whatever it is you're working on. They sell different types of connectors, everything from T-tap connectors, which allow you to put a splice into the middle of a wire without having to cut the wire or remove any insulation, waterproof melt butt connector kits, spade connector kits, which if you work on cars or boats, you know how useful they will be. And the same goes for ring connectors. When you need to connect a wire to something with a nut and a bolt, this is simply the way to do it. Solderstick. Remember them for all of your wire connection needs. There's a link down below for a discount.